Welcome back, everyone. It is time to do a comparison between the iPhone 13 and the Samsung Galaxy S22 and see which one is the better phone between both of these. Now, surprisingly, there's a lot of overlap between these, and it looks like Samsung, I think, did a really good job this year in terms of making the phone feel a lot more premium. So, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get that from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there are actually some similarities. They actually have pretty much the same type of layout and the same exact size panel as well. So the the iPhone 13 has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and it was a very good panel. I've been talking about this phone a lot this year. You still have the notch on it, but it is smaller than its predecessor, so I think that deserves some credit. But it is a little weird because, compared to the S22, I mean, this one doesn't really have a crazy amount going for it right now, but it's still a very good panel. It's still sharp, and I'm still a fan of this panel for sure. The S22, on the other hand, has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display. Now, compared to the iPhone 13, you are getting amazing things like a 120Hz panel, which is beautiful, and a hole punch display. So those are some really strong attributes to have on something like the Galaxy S22, and I'm really happy about that. These phones are kind of in the same price range, so it's cool that we're getting that type of capability on this type of device, and without a doubt, I am a humongous fan of that for sure. Now, another big thing is actually with the flat sides. So both these phones have pretty much the same layout on the side right now. So flat sides, although I think the iPhone 13's sides are a little bit more flat, I don't think you guys can tell over the camera, but they do seem a little bit more flat. Seems like the Galaxy S22 is a little bit curved, but honestly, when I put these phones on top of each other like this, they are almost exactly in the same footprint. Maybe the S22 is a little bit smaller and slimmer, which is very interesting, but I do think the iPhone 13 is a little bit slimmer in terms of the thickness, but they are kind of almost like twins, to be honest. Now on the back, very interesting setup as well. We have a triple camera setup on the S22, iPhone 13 dual camera setup, wireless charging on both. The S22 does have reverse wireless charging, which is really cool. There's the standard glass back on the iPhone 13, the glass back that we normally would have on a phone like this. The S22, on the other hand, has this frosted glass back, making it feel much more premium and more like a flagship. This is pretty much the same back we have on the iPhone 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max, and we're getting it on a phone like this, which is really cool. They both have charging ports at the bottom, Lightning here, USB Type-C here, IP certification, the whole 9 yards, and in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. Now, a big thing is software. Something that Samsung has kind of been doing recently is actually with these software updates. We are getting 4 years of full OS updates on the S22 and 5 years of security updates, making the Galaxy S22 a really strong contender for how long it's going to last. I still think the iPhone 13 is going to last longer than this phone, but that is a really crazy thing to keep in mind. This phone is still here to stay. It's going to be getting software support for a very long amount of time, and that is an amazing thing about this phone for sure. Now on the iPhone 13, this thing has, stock iOS, beautiful. Versus One UI, I mean, totally depends on which one you like. I love iOS. I like Android. I like One UI. I'm kind of getting accustomed to it, to be honest. But I will tell you, the iPhone 13 experience is great. It's very fluid. It's getting iOS support for a very long amount of time too. But, it's not really making any crazy waves like Android is doing right now with how much longer they're supporting their phones. So that covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4GB of RAM, but the Samsung Galaxy S22 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside of it with 8GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. Okay, there we go. I guess this is the best angle that we got. It's very, very awkward, but it's the best thing we got. Let's go and clear all the apps here, and let me go and clear all the apps on the iPhone 13, which is going to take about 45 minutes. Let's do their phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And kind of close between both, to be honest. Hopping out of this one, so I'm going to their app stores, 3, 2, 1. And the S22 definitely faster here. The Apple side, the iPhone side, they're always a little bit slower, which is okay, but you can see in terms of smoothness, the iPhone 13 is definitely much smoother than something like the Galaxy S22. That is a massive, massive thing to keep in mind. Hopping out of this, I want you to also kind of notice, like when we're sweeping between these applications, which one is smoother, which one is faster. Both kind of the same thing, to be honest, but it's always a little bit smoother on iOS. Let's go and get into something like their cameras. 3, 2, 1. And we should flip it over here for now. And let's go and get into the night mode on both. 3, 2, 1. S22's night mode a little bit faster. iPhone 13's a little bit behind. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into some of these third-party applications we have on both. And I don't know where these apps are. Okay, here we go. Let's go and do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13 was faster here. The S22 a little bit behind. Totally okay. Hopping out of this one, let's go and gonna do something like stack 3, 2, 1. And the S22 is faster here. iPhone 13 a little bit behind, not a big deal. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Samsung Galaxy S22 a little bit faster here. The iPhone 13 a little bit behind too. And I thought I saw articles stating that the iPhone 13 was way, way faster. Don't know if it's being shown here, to be honest. Snake first blocks, 3, 2, 1. And the S22 again is the faster one here. Getting into some gameplay, let's see if there's different, which I really doubt it. Let's go and hop out of this one. Let's go and get into what's next. Netflix I don't have here. We can go and do BOFA. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I totally messed that up. But we'll just load that one up in the background for the, RAM management test. Okay, let's go and hop out of this one. Great. Let's do Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And I do think the iPhone 13 is the faster one here. Although it was pretty close on the other apps, this one was pretty clear that the iPhone 13 was the far faster one for sure. And it crashed on the Galaxy S22. That's something I've been having on a lot of some of these phones. They've been crashing on my One UI 4 devices. My S21 is having it, and now my S22 is having it too. Crazy big problem. I don't know why that keeps happening. It's very, very annoying. Let's go and get into something like, I guess, Facebook, which I don't even have here. And try Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. I am logged in here, so it's not going to really work that well. Let's hop out of this one. Now let's go and load these apps back up. But it's very, very crazy that, in my opinion, that we're getting some type of closing and those apps crashing on the S22. I mean, it's a brand new phone. Some things can go wrong, but it's very weird that even happened right now. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll make a full speed comparison between these two. But for now, let's go and talk about the cameras. Now, like I just mentioned, the iPhone 13 has that dual camera setup, 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. The S22 has a triple camera setup, 50 megapixel wide, 10 megapixel telephoto, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. In terms of camera features between them, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, but you can see from one thing that I've seen time and time again, Apple does a great job in their photos and everything, but for some reason, Samsung throws a bunch of features in their cameras, which is amazing, and that's something I've always loved. So you're definitely getting more, features from something like the Galaxy S22's camera. The iPhone 13's camera is great. You have, the ultra-wide sensor, which is amazing. Unfortunately, you don't have that telephoto lens, which is kind of unfortunate. You still have a lot of capability here. You can zoom in a lot for the most part. You have portrait mode, which is great. You have cinematic mode too, which is great, but we're kind of lacking a lot of those cooler features that the S22 has. With the S22, we're getting that telephoto lens, which is really cool. I love having that ability. We have portrait mode. We have 8K capability, which is great. And we have this more option, which shows us a lot more features that our iPhones don't really have, which is kind of unfortunate. I think it's good and everything, but that is one thing to keep in mind. So in terms of the cameras, I would probably give it to the S22, but I will be doing a full camera comparison between these phones at some point. And now this takes us to the end of the video. And to be honest, because the Galaxy S22 is the newer phone, I like this phone a lot. I think it has a lot of capability. I'm not a stranger to Samsungs or anything, but I like these phones. And I do think the S22 fixed a lot of what the S21 messed up at. We have the flat sides, we have, the frosted glass back. Although it is a little bit weird because it still seems unstable for the most part. With the apps, some of the apps were crashing, which I've experienced before. We've had a lot of different little things like that here and there. But I mean, with iPhones, I've always loved iPhones. I love iOS, and I do think the iPhone 13 is a little bit of a more phone suited for me, although I don't think it's the better phone. I think there's still some features that Apple needs to bring, like that better display with 120 hertz even on this phone. The 13 doesn't have that. The hole punch display is lacking on all iPhones, which is so crazy. I think the S22 feels more premium, but the iPhone 13, I think, is probably the more of a phone that's suited for me, like I mentioned. But both these phones are great, and you can't really go wrong with either ones. So, like I mentioned, links are down below if you want to pick them up. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.